Now I would like to request our speaker, Mr. Abdul Rehman Usmani. He's the Vice President at Jazz for his overview. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Anab. I'm Abdul Rehman Usmani, currently looking after the Network and Technology Division of Jazz. One of the advantages or disadvantages of being at the last is that most of the things are already discussed. So I'll try to recluster or regroup the things to put a different perspective to the same facts. So I'll share the slide. Just give me a minute. So as you may see here, 5G is not really a revolution. I would quickly go over these things. Previously, all the mobile generation were evolution of the previous generation with something to add over. 5G is more or less a revolution. A revolution, it says in a way that it introduced new verticals that should work with new business models. And this revolution itself has been evolving over time. The very initial use cases were extension of fixed wireless access or mobile broadband. MBB is enhanced mobile broadband, which basically gives faster internet speeds to the existing mobile internet. As our CEO says, speed enough is not enough. You can download a movie over 5G in 1 minute, but it will still take you 90 minutes to watch that movie. So just enhancing the speed of the internet might not have been the most successful proposition of 5G. That's where the 5G went into the other phase of its evolution, which is video and AR, VR. This is the area which is currently being developed. Many operators are trying to find use cases in this avenue, but they are still struggling. And ultimately, the third vertical is URLNC and massive machine type communication. We at Jazz believe that we are at least 3 to 5 years away from 5G launch, not because we can't do it technically. Jazz was the first one to launch the commercial demo of 5G NSA in 2020, in the beginning of 2020, and that was all done on the commercial network. Our core is 5G ready, our transport is 5G ready. We just need to we just need to acquire the spectrum and get the radios to launch 5G. Some of the people have spoken about fiber penetration. So for Jazz, in the last 25 years in the first 25 years of his history, we had only 500 sites which are connected to the fiber. In the last 1 year alone, we have added 2,000 more sites which are connected over the fiber. So from the technology point of view, from the infrastructure point of view, we are there. But instead of jumping into launching 5G and later realizing what to do with it, the best approach is to prepare well in advance and build use cases which will give a sustainable business model to this technology. I was with South Korea Telecom team some time back. They were the first one to launch 5G ever in the world. In the beginning, they saw huge uptake, natural pattern with the innovation. But over a period of 2 years, people started to realize there's nothing much for them to utilize over this network, and they were started to go back to 4G. And then they are seeing a decline in their ARPUs and also the customers on 5G. And now some of the speakers have already spoken about subsidies for the 5G networks as well. So in order to build that sustainable business case, the most important thing is to create an ecosystem. And Jazz has taken a leap in that step by creating the 5G Innovation Lab at NUST. Mr. Umar Malik also already mentioned it. The whole idea of this lab is to create locally relevant use cases which are monetizable and which could be used by the masses of the country. Most recently, Arcelic, which is the owner company of the Dowlands, has also created the R&D center at NUST, and we are already working on building IoT use cases with Dowlands in our NUST lab. We spoke about spectrums. I will skip this slide. I believe the initial launch will always be on the low band, which will ultimately go to mid band, and finally will go to high band. That's more of a technical discussion. So EMBB use cases that are being told right now is VR, AR, content, broadcast. Again, these are the things which are not mature yet, and I believe they will be mature in the coming years. They are not ready yet. Other use cases of URLLC is self-driving cars. I believe we need to put really good effort in building connected cars in Pakistan, building smart grids in Pakistan, building a remote diagnostic infrastructure in Pakistan, developing infrastructure around sensor interaction. We need to build smart traffic solutions as well. So there's a lot of work to be done in that avenue before we can usually take elephant of that thing. Obviously, the last third vertical of 5G is MMTC, which is massive machine type communication, or which is called the massive IoT. We could build smart grids, micro grids, we could build smart cities, we could build smart transport, we could build lots of things, but they are not there yet. We don't have the smart cities, we don't have the smart home, we don't have any real use case where people would want to use 5G and will be willing to pay for it. And some of the people already spoke about it. Energy efficiency, that was the subject of this webinar. So on the gross basis, 5G consumes at least 2.5 times more energy than 4G. Although it gives almost 10 times more user capacity, so energy per bit is efficient, but unless we are able to build ecosystem which completely loads the network, the energy efficiency of 5G will be much lower than 4G. So taking out the time, I believe the regulatory regime is extremely important. Getting the spectrum which is cheaper is a very important. Denomination of spectrum in PKR is important, and also building the use cases which will be attracted to people who will be willing to pay for it is a key to building a sustainable business model which will benefit all the stakeholders. With that, I thank you very much.